Welcome to Scorpio Soul Time. I'm Ronique, and I appreciate you joining me here, where every lunation cycle I sit down with you and talk about the astrology as well as the astrological energies that are going on in our world, as well as pulling some tarot. So I appreciate you joining me here. If this is your first time here, this is my esoteric journey where I'm consistently learning progress over perfection. Excuse me. And so what that basically means is I'm always trying to find ways to better my own world, but also realize that I was given a gift early on in my childhood, which I don't think I realized until I grew much older, that I was tapping into energies that were going on around me. And I'm now realizing that, especially being someone who is a moon and sun Scorpio and my rising is Aquarius, I have noticed that I have intuitive abilities that have helped me over the years. And so I'm trying to tap into those energies and really hone in on my love for astrology and tarot. So thank you very much for that long introduction. Today we are actually going to talk about the full moon at 11 degrees and 45 minutes of Aquarius that happens on August 3rd, 2020 at 11:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can adjust that based on where you're at on the globe. And basically, for this full moon in Aquarius, the sun is sitting here in Leo and the moon is sitting across the sky in Aquarius. What is interesting about this axis, if you will, is that Leo is very much about more of that knowing and being and feeling courageous, feeling inspired, being able to feel very grounded, while Aquarius tends to be more of the individual who is usually higher minded, but it also can represent the collective. So it's interesting because this sun and moon axis of Leo and Aquarius is very much of this, let's see, it's like the Leo is like already a fixed fire sign with qualities of like ambition, competitiveness, and confidence, while Aquarius is also a fixed, but it's an air sign that is more dealing with higher mindedness, like I said, but also qualities of individualism among like-minded groups and pulling together ideas. And so I think that we're going to find a challenge at this full moon in Aquarius, because there's going to be like this duality but of struggle, because there's going to be this wanting to come out and be individual and be able to speak our mind, but there is a powerful T-square that actually the moon that is in Aquarius, the sun that is in Leo is going to be making this powerful T-square to Uranus, which is in Taurus. So now you have 3 of the 4 fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, making a square. And anytime you have a square, it is a feeling of tension. So we can already feel like this tension building up, if you will, amongst, you name it, anywhere in our daily life right now is this struggle between the government, between the schools, between the health, crises, between the injustices and oppression of many different groups. There is this challenging aspect right now, and I think that this full moon in Aquarius is not going to make us feel that much more comfortable, because the challenge is that since we have that powerful T-square, it could bring unexpected change, peculiar events. This is a moon phase for flexibility and adaptability, and not for taking risks or making erratic changes. So please think of that as we go through the tarot spread today, because Aquarius definitely is in the tarot represented by the water bearer and number 17 of the major arcana. And there is this duality of, while many people think Aquarius is a water sign because she is the water bearer, it actually is an air sign. And there's this almost like temperament of being able to take water, take the emotional side of things, but being able to realize that you need the higher mindedness of yourself to be like one with the stars, be one with who you are, really coming into your own and being able to temper the duality sides of yourself, but also just like the yin and yang in life. And I think that with this full moon in Aquarius, you're really going to be asked to step up in your own personal life and being able to temper how things are being told to you, be able to decipher for yourself what you think is fact and fiction, not just going along with the collective. There could be a rebellious side that comes out at this full moon in Aquarius, because there's also Mercury is going to be opposite Saturn at this full moon. So there could be this this feeling of wanting to find the truth in information, but maybe not being able to get it. I think there's going to be a stress amongst all of us, amongst the collective, in trying to figure out where is it that we can get more information, but we might not be able to get the information with Mercury opposite Saturn. It could bring negative information, disappointment, and messaging coming to us that we aren't ready to receive. It can be a really trying time, I think, also because Leo is a very strong sign in terms of, its ruler is the sun. So, you can't get any mightier than the sun. So there definitely is going to be this feeling of wanting to be able to get to the heart of things, standing up in your truth and being able to express yourself and being able to be, mighty and noble like a lion. But then there's going to be the Aquarian side, the sun is across from the moon. So the Aquarius moon is also going to be like this emotional side of wanting to be more higher minded and be more of the collective in trying to figure out the truth, coming out with, why aren't we able to move forward? And so there's going to be this constant tug of war, I think, as we move through this full moon in Aquarius. So, think through in your life where maybe you've been seeing themes of Leo also rules family, friends, being close with people, but also authoritative figures, while Aquarius can also symbolize groups, community. It can also deal with your own self within a group. So this could also be anything dealing with your work, maybe your church, places that you feel like you're part of a whole or part of a collective. And I want you to think through, we've been through some, this has been a doozy of a year, y'all. And I'm just trying to keep myself grounded, my own self, because I can see where the energies are leading and where the astrology says things are going. And I'm just letting you all know that as we move into August and September, things are not going to get lighter. Mars is getting ready to, or actually Mars just went into Aries, right? This last few weeks ago. So Mars will now get ready, I think, to go retrograde within this next month. I think by mid to late August it goes retrograde, and so Mars will be in Aries an unusually long time this year. So this is that constant feeling of combativeness, the struggles, the divisiveness amongst our nation. If you're here in the United States, there's definitely, you can see where different people are starting to part and make their own, there's just so much divisiveness between the healthcare community, between the education community, between, the authorities that are over our police, between our government, between our, it's just like there's no clear-cut way to really know where to go. So I hope that in this time, you just take the time to go inwards and figure out what you need for yourself to be able to feel secure, to feel safe. Because if you look for all those answers outside of yourself and your family, you're going to find a hard time of where to find the truth, where things still could be muddied. So I want you to please keep that in mind as we pull cards today. And you just keep, keep yourself and your higher mind and your higher spirit in a good place throughout these next weeks, because it's going to be a challenge. So let's do a past, a present, and a future. Okay, so in the past, it looks like we have the Hermit card in reverse. So I like to turn it right side up, and the Hermit card is the number 9 in the major arcana, and it represents this older man who has gone up into the mountainous terrain. He is looking and seeking truth. He's like going inward, away from the collective, away from his family, and he holds this light because as he is enlightened, if you will, by him going into solitude, he was able to come out and go back to his community, leading the way of knowledge and wisdom and whatnot. And that's what this lantern is supposed to represent. With it in reverse, though, what I'm thinking is that in the past, there has been a feeling of not knowing where we need to go. Maybe not being able to go inward. You're feeling like you're being pulled by the collective, or you haven't been able to find your own voice. You've had problems being able to really find a place within yourself where you can have a feeling of going within my own thoughts, within my own beliefs, having to almost jump on the bandwagon of everyone else's thoughts. So I think that this really makes sense with our past that we've gone through in 2020, how we've all had many struggles dealing with how do we find our own individual selves, how do we make a voice for ourselves. So I think that makes sense during this this year of 2020 that we've already been through. In the present, we have the Ace of Cups upright, which is a very welcomed card because the Ace of Cups always signifies a like the hand of God, or whoever you believe is the higher version of ourselves, whoever your higher spirit is, bringing you this gift of emotional support, this gift of energy of, whatever you need, it emotionally is there. But the thing about the aces is that you usually are stepping into this. So this might not necessarily be something that just comes out of the blue. You might actually have to work for it, meaning, if you are having emotional ties, maybe around family. Remember, Leo does rule the family. So you might be having family strife, or you might be having challenges around friends. Maybe you've been having issues with, just trying to keep yourself in a emotionally good standard with yourself amongst your peers. So I think that this is a really positive sign, because I think we all need this like emotional support right now as we move into this full moon of Aquarius, because there definitely is this feeling of like, where is the emotional support? Like, I feel like many of us feel like we've kind of been lost throughout this cycle of this year of just trying to keep ourselves grounded. And I think this Ace of Cups is reminding us that we do have emotional support. We do have it, but we're going to have to seek it. We're going to have to maybe put a little more energy into finding it, but it is there. So I think that's a really positive sign that even though there might be struggles, there's going to be some emotional either people that come into our lives. It could also mean, with the Ace of Cups, it could signify a water sign. So a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio may come into your life that may offer support as well. So remember that when we look through the suits, that often it also relates to a person or theme that comes into your life. And then in the future, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. And I always think it's interesting when we get the King of Pentacles because he's been showing up several times in our readings in the past. If you go look at Scorpio soul time over especially those eclipse videos, I remember the King of Pentacles coming up. So this definitely is still signifying that we're all kind of working towards this feeling of feeling secure, but this almost like this feeling that even though we're not quite sure where we're going with our job, or feeling like we're going to be financially secure, or we're going to have the time, energy, resources. Remember, Pentacles represents anything dealing with earthly possessions. So this could signify time, energy, money. This could also mean a boss or someone that represents something financial could come into your life. With it being in reverse though, I feel like there's still this energy of like you're not sure of maybe where you stand at your job. Maybe someone who is over you, like a boss or a superior, still has some either information that you need in order for you to feel secure, or maybe you're coming into some money at some point, or you're trying to go for a promotion or something dealing around your physical world where resources and you feeling secure is necessary, but there's this rub, like you can't seem like you can get exactly what you need, or you're worried that you won't be able to get what you need. So I think we're going to pull some clarifier cards because I want to see if this emotional energy that we're having in the present is going to help us into the future, and if when we weren't able to kind of find out where we were going in the past on an individual level, if that is something that is going to help us in the future. Because I feel like that King of Pentacles comes up several times for us, and it's almost like there's this feeling of where is it that I'm going to finally feel secure. And I think that this year of 2020, if it's teaching us anything, it's really teaching us that we're not going to be able to just blink our eyes and everything is going to go back to how it used to be. I think we all pretty much have figured out by now that 2020 is the year of change. It definitely is this year where we're having to, it just fell out, but that was a lot of cards, so we're going to keep shuffling. I think we're all realizing that this 2020 has been a year that is going to change us forever. We're never going to be able to go back the same as we were in most ways of our life. I mean, and there's the Fool, just came out, so let's put him up there. I think we're all realizing that there's something that will change permanently, and I think it's interesting that the Fool came out because it's literally like we're all starting again. It's like the Fool's journey is telling us that while you thought things were going to remain the same and you thought 2020 was just going to be, you know, a little different than 2019, I think we can all attest to that is not happening. Like we are literally starting anew. So I feel like that Fool jumped out right at the right time. Okay, so let's do some clarifiers of the Hermit first. And I don't know about you all, but I feel like there's been some positive parts of this 2020 because I feel like we needed a reset. Like even though it's, you know, hellacious to go through, we're seeing new sides of industries that were so ingrained in tradition that we're now realizing like we didn't know about so many things before, and I feel like things are coming to light. Themes of enlightenment are coming to life. And I feel like they're coming to the surface for us to have to deal with. And, you know, we can't keep putting, you know, racism and oppression and, you know, the different political affiliations just doing their own thing. I mean, there really is just all of this divisiveness right now. And I'm just ready for it to move to a point that we can be productive with it. I don't mind having disagreements. I just feel like at this point we're not really coming together to like make change. We're just like growing further and further apart. Does anyone feel like that? This is for the Hermit. So we have the 7 of Wands. And I'm going to shuffle for the Ace of Cups. Why is the Ace of Cups here in the present? Ace of Cups for the present. Okay, we have the Page of Swords. And then for the future, we have that King of Pentacles in reverse. Try to get them all in frame for you. All right, so that King of Pentacles. Oh, look at that. I just saw a card mixed in with that I obviously had from another deck. So that's what happens when you use so many different decks. All right, King of Pentacles in the future. All right, 3 of Pentacles. So 2 Pentacles in the future. Interesting. So definitely we're still going to be on this theme of resources, thinking through what it is we need to do to make us feel secure. All right, so let's talk about the past. So the 7 of Wands has to do with this person who feels like he is up against the world, meaning like he's having to push down and fight against all these sticks that are going on, or all these wands. Wands has to deal with passion, fire energy. So this could be you at work having to fight off all of the text messages, emails, whatever that are coming in, or you might be feeling alone that you have to do all this, but maybe you don't. I think it does make sense with this Hermit in the past too, in reverse, because there's almost like this energy of, have you felt like you're alone, but not being able to really, like, remember when I was saying you're not able to go within and find what it is that you're trying to get enlightened about? Maybe you feel like you're on this one solo mission by yourself and you're feeling like all of these wands are against you and you're just fighting back the sticks. And so I feel like there's this energy of you feeling alone, you feeling like you can't get to this place where you can turn the Hermit right side up and be enlightened. There definitely is this feeling of the past, something you feel like you're doing it alone. You feel like you don't have all of the emotional support that we have right here with the Ace of Cups. So what I do like to see here is that the Ace of Cups in the present, there's almost like this, now there's this feeling of, now that we're in the present with the Page of Swords, the page is this energy of air. And so remember, we are moving into this Aquarius full moon, which is also mind related. So I'm almost feeling like pages are usually young energy. So this could be children maybe enlightening you. It could be hearing messages of information that may help you gain this emotional support. So there might be people in your life, young children, maybe even someone who comes into your life that sheds new light on things that you were worried about in the past. And this emotional support is here to help you decipher through some of that information. Maybe you're getting new ideas about how to, use this emotional support, or maybe this emotional support has been here throughout, but you didn't see it until now. Maybe there's some young energy around you that is actually helping you gain more of a cohesive emotional bond with someone. And this could also signify, remember, swords are air energy, so this could be an Aquarius, it could be a Gemini, it could be a Libra coming into your life trying to give you that emotional support. So this definitely to me is a good sign in the present, because it feels like there's this ongoing feeling of like you're gonna feel like you're going to start feeling more open to maybe taking on more emotional support, or maybe you're actually helping someone else. That's the other thing. Sometimes in tarot, what I've noticed is this does not always represent you per se. Sometimes it represents you helping someone else. This in the past, I really feel like is you, because the Hermit represents you being isolated. And then obviously the Seven of Wands, where he's combating all of the wands coming at him. This definitely is you. This is you feeling alone, or someone around you feeling alone and they need your help. But I really feel like this is you, especially with this Fool up here as we're starting this energy this year. I feel like this Fool is reminding us, look, this is all about the Fool's journey. Like, this 2020 is the Fool's journey. Like, I feel like this card literally is symbolizing our 2020 year. This dog has been trying to tell us for years and years that you're getting ready to fall off a cliff, and our heads have been up in the sky. We haven't been paying attention, and now we're literally at this point where the next step, we're either going to fall down and we're picking ourselves up, or you're going to listen to the dog, you're going to look down and be like, oh, wait a minute, we are getting ready to fall off a cliff. Or, you know, some of us may need to fall off a cliff to be able to get up again and start anew. So I think that this Fool energy, I'm telling you, is us needing to wake up, us needing to realize we're not going back to 2019. Like, 2020 is officially like, wake up. Listen to your dog that's telling you you're going to fall off a cliff. And if you don't, well, you're going to fall off. And I mean, I really feel like right now we're in this moment of pretty soon we're going to be off the cliff, going to have to pick ourselves up and rebuild. And sometimes that's what you have to do. I mean, that's how life goes. I mean, we're in these cycles of having to renew ourselves, rebuild ourselves. So I really feel like going into the future, we're still going to have themes around security, because the Three of Pentacles has to do with, there's this person here who has these blueprints. You can see the Three of Pentacles up here in like a church setting, and they're all being taught how to, you know, either build or how to come together as a community to make something work together. So I think it's interesting because with the King of Pentacles in reverse and the Three of Pentacles upright, I feel like there's this feeling of how can you work together with someone else, with your colleagues, with maybe a group of people. Remember, that's Aquarian energy. And as we come into this full moon in Aquarius, is there an opportunity for you to work with other people, not be so concerned about what you don't have? Because the King of Pentacles can also represent you feeling salty or feeling bad that maybe you didn't get that raise, or that you didn't get some kind of security, riches that you were banking on. But is there some kind of energy where you're supposed to be working with others? Because as I'm looking at it, it's almost like the tarot is telling us, in the past, you were thinking you needed to work alone. You were thinking you had to go about it all on your own. But as we're entering into this present Aquarius full moon from Leo, there is this there is this underlying current of maybe there is help, maybe there is emotional help, maybe there is mental clarity, but we might not feel it right away. We might have to actually jump off this ledge, if you will, fall off this ledge before we realize we're going to have to work together. We're going to have to communally work together, but you're still going to have your individual way of figuring out what's right for you, and then bringing that into the future of how can I take my individual self and my beliefs and still make it work as a community, still make it work with those around me, my neighbors, my colleagues. I think it's interesting as we go into this fall with the education system, where even though the governing bodies may say we're reopening schools regardless of the pandemic, you as your own household have to decide, is this the right move for me and my child and my family? How can I make this work where, I'm still able to be connected with the outside world, but emotionally I'm able to start anew and work through these different changing times on our own. And I think that as we come into this full moon in Aquarius, you all are going to have to come to a point where you can figure out what is going to work for you, what is going to work for your family, what is going to work for you at work, what is going to work for you with your colleagues, your friends, because this is a new way of living. This is a new way of looking at life right now. And we can't keep going back to 2019 and 2010 and thinking that nothing has changed, because the world is changing. We are no longer in this space where we can just go through life like this fool and act like, oh, everything is glorious, we don't have anything to worry about. I'm not telling you that you need to be Chicken Little and put your head in a outside, or put your head in a hole and yell the sky is falling. But you do need to realize we've been warned for years. This little dog to me represents we have been given many chances, many glimpses into this year before right now. And so we all have to figure out, as we enter this full moon in Aquarius, there's going to be uncomfortable information that comes out. There's going to be probably negative information, disappointment, and messaging that comes out that we do not want to hear. But as far as I'm concerned, we are all have been conditioned to think that we cannot do anything, to think that we have to stay in isolation. But the reality is, there's emotional support, there's mental clarity here. We just have to decipher it for ourselves. So I hope as we move through this full moon in Aquarius, we all just keep that in mind, that we are strong enough to get through this, but we're gonna have to do it in a smarter, strategic way for ourselves. The Aquarius side of me, which is my ascendant, tells me that there is a way through this, but you're going to have to think in a higher minded way to get through this. You're not going to be able to just keep using the old tactics that you've been using to feel secure, because you're going to keep running into this feeling of, I'm all alone, I'm isolated. No, we're all going through this together. And I think this Three of Pentacles is telling us, at some point, we're going to have to come back together, but I think you're all going to have to tap into your own individual way of looking at life and looking at how you solve problems and issues for yourself, just to figure out how this can work for you and your family, you and your just you and your daily routine. Remember to do self-care, meditate, connect with nature. If you can get out, ground yourself. I try to get out. I work with the parks department, so I'm always trying to get out in nature and enjoy the trees and the hearing the birds chirp and all of that will really help you stay connected to Mother Earth and help you also ground yourself so that all of the negative messaging and energy coming towards us doesn't take its toll on you. So remember, self-care, get out in nature, and God help us all, right? So I appreciate you all joining me here on Scorpio Soul Time. If you haven't subscribed, I would love if you would. You would share this video with your friends, hit the like button, and share it with anyone who you think this will help. I love you all, and I appreciate you joining me for Scorpio Soul Time. Bye. See you later.